Hello everyone, and welcome to Brain Over Breast Cancer. I'm Andrea Davis, and I'm a life coach and a stage 3 breast cancer survivor, and I'm also someone who's passionate about physical health and well-being. And today I'm going to be talking to you about the cancer fighting smoothie. Now, you might wonder, why is a life coach talking to me about my health, my diet? I feel like physical and mental and emotional health are all quite intertwined, and tending to my physical health was a really important part of my treatment for me and finding ways to do that. And I feel like I would be remiss if I just didn't talk to you about that at all. So I will talk to you about it in my videos and emails a little bit. And this smoothie is really important to me. I still have it every single day. And I have a story for you about why I started making it. So when I was going through chemo about a year ago, I also saw an acupuncturist. And he had worked with a naturopathic doctor at one point who focused on treating people with cancer. And so he knew a lot about supplements that help people who have cancer and who are going through treatment. And he had me take some supplements that I think really helped me not get neuropathy, numbness and tingling in my fingers and toes from the Taxotere that I was on. And I will talk to you about that in a future video for those of you who are interested in finding out more about that. And the acupuncture, by the way, also really helped. It helped a lot with my digestion, so it really helped a lot. But so one of the things that he had me take was called Vital Clear. And Vital Clear is a powder that you mix with water. It has protein in it, so it's partly a protein powder, but then it also has a number of other nutrients in it. So it has a lot of antioxidants and other nutrients in there. And so, I would mix it with water and drink it every morning, and it felt great to drink, and I felt like I was doing something really good for my health by having it. But during the time that I was having this Vital Clear, there were 2 different oncology appointments where the oncologist said, your tumor isn't shrinking as fast as I feel like it should, being on this chemo. And the first time I was like, oh, well, that's kind of weird, but I thought maybe it was kind of a fluke and maybe it would start shrinking faster again. And then the second time, 3 weeks later, she said again, gosh, your tumor's not really shrinking that quickly. And I was like, oh man, this is a big deal. I want to figure out if there's something that I could do that would help the chemo to work better. So I did a little bit of research into antioxidants, and I found out that some doctors and researchers think that ingesting large amounts of antioxidants while on chemo, like the amounts that would be found in supplements, could actually protect the tumor from the chemo. So not everybody thinks this, but some people thought that. And I was like, okay, well, what do I have to lose here? My chemo's not working as well as it should. Maybe I'll stop taking this Vital Clear and see what happens. But I really enjoyed drinking something in the morning that felt healthy and good. And I wanted to keep doing that. So that's when I came up for this recipe for the cancer fighting smoothie. Oh, and also, I didn't see anything that said that the kind of antioxidants that are found in healthy food are a problem. It's just ingesting a lot, many times over the RDA, many times what you need in a day. The kind of antioxidants that are found in supplements, that's the problem, not antioxidants in food. So I came up with a cancer fighting smoothie and had it every day. And the tumor started shrinking faster. And the oncologist said, this is great, whatever you're doing, keep it up. So, of course, I was really happy about that. And so let's go into the kitchen, and I'll show you how I make the cancer fighting smoothie. And you don't have to write it down because we'll come back afterwards and I'll give you the recipe and I'll also give it to you in the next email that I send to you. But for now, let's go into the kitchen. And I'll show you what I do every morning. All right, so here we are in the kitchen. and we're going to make this smoothie. So I'm starting out with some chopped apple, and I cut it up pretty small, and I put it in the bottom because you don't want chunks in there. Sometimes there's little chunks. And so apples and cherries, which I have half a cup of cherries, pitted cherries here, they have a substance called apigenin. And apigenin has been studied and shown to help reduce breast cancer cells, and including HER2 positive cells. HER2 positive is the kind of breast cancer that I had. And it's also was shown in a 2017 study to help make chemotherapy more effective. So I always put an apple in my smoothie. And we have these frozen pitted cherries. They're from the property here. So I put some of those in too. Parsley, celery, and chamomile actually have even more apigenin. So chamomile tea is a good thing to have. It's a nice thing to have in the evening. Those are good things to include in your diet as well. So I'm going to put the cherries in here. And then we've got a cup and a half of blueberries. Now, any kind of berry, it has been shown to help prevent breast cancer. And there's a 2017 study that says that berries are a strategy that can help cancer patients. So a nutritional strategy that can help cancer patients. The studies that I'm citing were all published on the National Institutes of Health website, by the way. And if you want the specific sites, I can give you those too. So we've got that, and then we're going to put a half cup of cooked kale in this smoothie. Now, I used to use raw kale, but then I read that raw kale, if you have it every day, it has over time goitrogenic properties, which means it inhibits your thyroid. So if you're going to use kale or collard greens, which I recommend as a cruciferous vegetable to put in here, you definitely want to cook the kale. So there's half a cup. And you can also use broccoli sprouts. So kale and broccoli sprouts both have sulforaphane, and any cruciferous vegetable has sulforaphane. And sulforaphane is being studied quite a lot right now, and it has been shown to help inhibit cancer growth as well. So here we've got all this. I'm going to use a cup and a half of almond milk, and I'm using non-dairy milk. I definitely don't suggest using regular dairy milk. It can be inflammatory. If you're going to use any kind of dairy product, I would suggest maybe a scoop of yogurt if you want, but then you'll have to put some kind of liquid, either water or non-dairy milk in here to make it liquidy enough. So there we've got our almond milk. And I'm going to use some protein powder. Now, when I was on chemotherapy, I would use 2 full scoops of protein powder. That's 1 serving. When you're on chemo, you definitely need extra protein because chemo is breaking down parts of your body, and you've got to build it back up. But now I'm just going to have 1 scoop. And I'm using this. This is a great brand of protein powder, but you can use other brands too. You just want to make sure that they don't have added sugars. You want to make sure that it doesn't have soy protein. You want to make sure it doesn't have dextrin or maltodextrin or any artificial sweeteners. So I would go with the more natural type product for sure. And I like the plant-based protein powders, but that is a matter of preference. So here we've got our smoothie. Now we're going to blend it up. Now we have a Vitamix. You can also use a blender. Or you could probably use a food processor too. I haven't done that, but I think a blender would work fine. So here we go. I'm gonna start going here. Okay. All right, there we go. So this recipe should make just about a quart of smoothie. Now, if that's too much for you, this is a great breakfast for me. But if that's too much for you, you could cut the recipe in half and have a pint. But a quart is wonderful. There it is. And by the way, the cooked kale does not taste I don't taste it in here. You know, it doesn't, it blends in. The fruit flavor really covers it up. And there we have it. So good, so good. There you have it. All right, so here's that recipe. Now this recipe makes a quart of smoothie. So if that feels like too much for you, you could cut the recipe in half and make a pint. You could just have half an apple and stick the other half in the fridge for tomorrow. But there's the recipe, and I'll also include this in my next email to you.